So, good morning, James. I'm so happy to talk with you this morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. So, I've been seeing a lot of things that a lot of my friends and people in my social circle are just doing. Like, some people have been doing it, and some people are just now getting recognized for what they've been doing. And what I saw you do was you made a post the other day on Facebook. And hold on, I'm gonna read it. I'm sorry.
No problem.
I make I had it all saved and everything, and now it's acting funny. Okay, here we go. You made a post on Facebook, and it says, "Thanks, y'all. I started the daily playlist because I saw some of my favorite DJs going live multiple times a week. So I figured my contribution would be making playlists, some of their live sets, and making daily playlists of my own." Now you made that post because I'm assuming that you got the end of the year wrap up from Spotify. Is that what that was?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. So what did it say? What did the end of the year wrap up say?
Usually what the end of the year wrap up does, it just basically just compiles everything that you played from January up until that point. They usually make the playlist like early December.
Mm-hmm.
So what they'll do is they'll send you notifications, or even when you go to your playlist for that morning or for that day, they'll say enter the wrap up playlist, click here. So when I clicked on it, I was like, okay, let me see what songs I had been playing or not playing. And of course, I realized either from the playlist or from the albums I had been playing, that's where the songs normally come from. So they just basically start from what playlist you play, what albums you play,
Mm-hmm.
and they just compile, you've played this song this many times. You've played this artist this many times.
Mm-hmm.
You've played this genre of music this many times. And it basically just gives you like a little chart of artists you played. Usually top 5 artists, top 5 songs, and top 5 genres of music that you played for that particular year.
Yeah. So basically metrics about what you've been listening to and whatnot.
Exactly.
And a part of those metrics, you posted that 356 of your playlists gained almost 3,200 new followers. And then it says, please influence responsibly. So basically, you're out here making these playlists and you are influencing people. I mean, is that what it means? Like, how?
I would say so, because even though I normally make playlists, I never make that many playlists for a particular, year.
I think that's the whole beauty of it. Like, so what you referenced in your post was that it's all because of the lockdown that we were in. So, we were saying that basically Spotify is calling you an influencer, which means that people are checking for you and the playlist that you're putting together. They're being inspired by what you're putting together. But I want to kind of take it back because I know that you have a vast knowledge of music and you really appreciate music. It's like to the point sometimes somebody could say a line of a song, and here you come, you could say what the song is, what year it was made, who made it, and what album it's on. And I mean, you could do that for so many songs. So where does your knowledge and appreciation of music come from?
Well, we're gonna take it all the way back.
All
My uncle Greg, who's in North Carolina, my parents, probably when I was like 6 or 7, to get their break after the school year, they would take my sister and I to Raleigh, North Carolina, and we would stay there for the summer. So probably until I started working, probably all the way from about 6 to about 15, I would go there every summer. So the first summer I was there, my uncle, who had been stationed in Germany, that was his first summer back in North Carolina. So what I didn't know while he was in the service down there, he was also like the DJ. So when he came back that summer, he bought like crates of records. And, whenever it was too hot outside, or, if he didn't have anything going on, he would just play music and I would just listen to it. So, this was probably early 80s. So, Cameo and, the Whispers, 80s groups, but it kind of started with that Ohio Players, a group called Clear that I remember. he would just pretty much just play the albums that he had. And then as long as I was, being attentive, he would just keep playing, keep playing, keep playing.
Oh, that's awesome. So your uncle
So
was your first DJ.
exactly. So it pretty much started with that. And then listening to different radio stations in North Carolina. They had one DJ called Waxmaster Tory, who on Friday nights would play from midnight to like 6 a.m.
Oh, wow.
And of course, since I was always up late anyway, watching TV or whatever, I would just listen to it until it was, I started getting tired or whatever, sometimes 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. And it pretty much started with that. Yeah, and then when I got home, then I would, inquire more about it with my mom, or she would play something on the radio. Oh, Mom, that song, how'd you know that? She was surprised that I acquired the knowledge that fast, or started learning about particular music that fast, because it wasn't like an interest I had pretty much expressed before that happened.
Yeah. And so, I heard you say that your uncle would bring back crates of records, and I know that you collect CDs. Your CD collection is massive. And you still order them now?
Yeah, still from Amazon.com, Best Buy, until they had stopped selling CDs probably about a year ago.
So do you still actually play CDs?
What I do mostly with the CDs now, I just burn them onto iTunes, since I still have my old iPod. So, like, if you're ever at Jasper's when I'm playing the speaker or anywhere I have the speaker in the iPod, I load the CD onto the iTunes, still make the playlist on the iTunes, so that way when I sync the iPod, those playlists and albums or songs can still be on the iPod.
Oh, you are so dedicated to this. I love it. So speaking of that old iPod, I know you mentioned that your playlists are used at your job. Like how did that come about?
They basically allowed me the freedom. It was 1 year where they were featuring one of those iPod towers as one of the featured gifts that we were selling at the store. So it was probably one September, October, since of course, Christmas is in December. And they were like, what can we play on? I was like, oh, I got an iPod. I can play some stuff on it. Yeah. And I guess they were just surprised that I would do that. And so many customers would be attentive to what I was playing. Like, it could be a day I was off and I would come back to work and they would be like, they really like that Tina Marie playlist, or, they really like so-and-so playlist. Yeah. And then as they got closer to Christmas, then I would have the Christmas playlist. And what we had to end up doing, because we didn't trust the folks would actually leave the iPod there without trying to take it. I started just burning the iPod onto a CD. They connected one of those CD players to the tower, and then they would just play the playlist that way.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's pretty much what started it in the store. And then when I went to another store, when our speaker went down in the store, they actually would let me take my speaker and bring it to the store, and they would just play the iPod all day. Like, it would just literally stay at the store. I think it was at the store for like 2-3 months.
Yeah.
Even probably more than that, because they just liked the playlist and the different playlists I had. So the store manager was like, well, we ain't gonna call them and get the speaker fixed. We just gonna use yours. So that's pretty much how it was.
Right. And you've been influencing since before Spotify, before this gig. Like, you're not the socialite anymore. You're the influencer. But see, I want to read some of the comments that people left on that post you made.
Okay.
Because it's not just me, like other people, of course, because based on your metrics, but some of the comments were, well, some people are going to be a little, we got to joke with you.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So one of them, well, at least you're good for something. Someone else, influence responsibly. This man don't even know who Andy Serkis is. Who he going to influence? That was all in fun. And then others were so positive. That's awesome. We love them. Damn, bruh, good stuff. This is great. And then Nicole in particular, she said, dope. I follow and listen to most of them. Thanks for the vibes. Thank you. Your playlists have helped me get through quarantine. And then Dara says, James is a social media influencer. So we were all feeling your good vibes. I mean, we've been so blessed to be able to have you. And what are some of the ways that you share your playlists? Because I know, how many playlists do you even have?
Well, it's too many at this point, but since you mentioned the DJs, that's pretty much where it got started. Probably in March, right when quarantine started. That's when D-Nice was the first one that really started like either daily or multiple times a week having his sets on IG.
Right. We were partying. We were scared and locked
exactly.
up. He was
and
playing.
Then you had other DJs like Ninth Wonder, local DJs like DJ Miss Her. They were pretty much doing it weekly. And I think I was making a playlist to one of Ninth Wonder's live sets one day. And I was like, they come on here 3-4 times a week. D-Nice sometimes would even come on to like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, what can I do? I said, you know what? I'll just start making daily playlists. Because I was like, they can do it multiple times a week. My contribution will be daily playlists. And at first they started small, because what I remember when I used to burn CDs back in the day, a blank CD was like 80 minutes.
Right.
So when I made mixes, the first couple were like 74 minutes, 75 minutes. But then I think it was a Prince playlist one day, and I was like, I can't really make a Prince playlist.
Yeah, that's like a triple CD.
And that's what I'm saying. So I even had to space it out between like fast and up-tempo songs for one playlist and then like slow jams for one playlist. And then the more playlists I started doing, it just got longer. I want to say 2 days ago was playlist 200.
Wow.
So just from the daily playlist, it's 200. But I've made playlists from the D-Nice live sets, the Ninth Wonder live sets, the DJ Miss Heard live sets. So I've been doing that as well as the daily playlist.
And then also verses. We can't leave verses out.
Oh no, definitely can't leave that out.
Were you making playlists for those too?
If it was an artist that I actually listened to, like the Brandy and Monica one, I actually listened to Brandy and Monica. You know how stubborn I am. So when Gladys Knight and Patti LaBelle decided, we're going to do it on the first football Sunday, I was like, well, I know I'm not going to be watching that, but what I'll do, I'll make my own Gladys Knight and Patti LaBelle verses. And then I tried to do it like the day before, 2 days before. So for the people that were going to watch it, it would kind of be their like pre-playlist to being able to, before they actually watch it that Sunday. I make it like Friday or Saturday. That's kind of like a pregame to the actual verses. Yeah. So that's my idea for the ones I don't watch, is just to kind of give people a pregame playlist so they can listen to it until the real verses comes on.
So did you go back and watch the Patti one?
I actually didn't. I only saw like a couple clips where like Patti was doing that dance.
Yeah, it was
the GIFs and things that people were sharing based on that verses.
Which one was your favorite or your top 3 verses?
I would probably only say the Brandy and Monica one, only because of how much music I listened to of theirs. Even though I'm a rap music fan, hip hop, it wasn't like they had a KRS One versus LL or anything like that. I think it ended up being like, Little John and T-Pain, and you just had.
Hey, I love T-Pain.
Well, he's cool, but T-Pain to me has always been like a hook artist.
Yeah.
So I can't really tell you, other than like some maybe like Bartender and Can't Believe It. I can't really tell you too many of T-Pain songs, but I know he did the hook on Blame It. I know he did the hook to I'm So Hood. He did the hook to Go Hard with Kanye West. I know more about T-Pain's hooks than I do his actual songs and albums. So I always looked at T-Pain as like a hook artist, not really a artist, if that makes any sense.
I mean, that kind of sounds like a diss, but no, it's all good.
I hear you. No, but I see what you're saying.
So I'm sorry. Okay, so you were given your top 3 verses. So you said Brandy Monica. I
would say Brandy Monica, because I know I paid a lot of attention to that. Oh, Snoop DMX. So my bad. So that was number 1. That was number 1. I forgot about that. So Snoop DMX was 1 because they were just as entertaining as the songs, freestyling, Snoop getting up doing those dances. So Snoop DMX, I'd probably say Brandy and Monica, and then I would say probably the Fabulous Jadakiss, because at least I watched that one because, I had listened to them early on in the career and through most of their career. So I would say those 3 personally would be my 3 personal favorites, because I actually watched the entire verses for all 3 of those.
Those are some good ones. And the Snoop DMX one, like DMX was so open. I was like, they vibing up in there. He's being open and Snoop in there dancing.
Yeah,
I
but see, back when DMX first came out, his first album came out in '98. You wouldn't have seen Snoop and DMX doing that in 1998.
right,
You
exactly.
understand what I'm saying? Even though most of the East Coast West Coast beef was over, and artists were finally doing tracks with each other, when DMX first came out in 1998, you wouldn't have seen anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So for them to do it in 2020 and it still be relevant, people still, over a million people
Yes.
showed up for that one.
Yeah.
So you can tell folks are missing concerts because I would say that's where the versus idea came from. It's just trying to keep people entertained with artists just as much as the DJs keep you entertained on live, and just trying to find another outlet to where you can still, it's like a virtual concert pretty much.
Right. And I mean that it was a concern of people. I mean, I know, first world problems or whatever, but
Exactly.
it's part of what people did and how they lived. They would go to these
Exactly.
concerts and whatnot. And so they're like, well, we don't know if we'll ever be able to do that again. So this was a good way to still keep people engaged and in that mind frame and whatnot. So before we wrap it up,
okay,
what are some of the local DJs that you follow? I know you mentioned Miss Her earlier.
DJ Miss Her, and she's introduced me to a few just from joining Twitch. DJ Epic, DJ Applejack, DJ Wally Sparks.
These are
DJ
local
Ebony
DJs?
ATL. These are all local, but they all span for me listening to Miss Her. Or what they'll do is, so if she's doing a Twitch set and other DJs come onto that set, she'll immediately, or a couple minutes afterwards, follow this DJ. He's dope. Follow this DJ. So it's kind of like trying to send the love to the other DJs because they're going through the same thing that she's going through. So all of them aren't necessarily local. Like I know DJ Epic is Sacramento, California. I think Wally Sparks is Atlanta. So they're in different spots. But had she not joined Twitch, I never would have been introduced to those other DJs.
Gotcha. So Twitch is the place that you're able to go and learn about some of these smaller DJs that are trying to come up and whatnot.
Exactly. And it was people that I wouldn't have heard before because when I was just on IG, it was strictly D-Nice, Ninth Wonder. Ninth Wonder has something called True School DJs where it's about 7 or 8 DJs. And on Thursdays, they have a set called True School Thursdays. Mm-hmm. They'll start at like 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. And then Ninth Wonder will show up at midnight and do his set, and that'll be it. So prior to Twitch, I just knew about D-Nice, Ninth Wonder and his crew of DJs, Miss Her. Those are primarily the 3 that I listened to.
Well, that's what's been, drawing me in, like just what you were talking about, how Miss Her shouting out these other DJs and want people to show them love. And so that's basically what I wanted to do with you, show you some love because you've been blessing us with your playlist. And I mean, someone can ask you like for an event or sometimes you'll do it for people's birthdays. Like you just love to do this and you bless us all with it. So thank you. Now, how can we find you on Spotify? What is your
Spotify? I'm under Music Man 817.
Music Man 817.
That's the actual name that it is on Spotify. But I remember you had mentioned a comment about how I share it. Usually, as soon as I make the playlist or when I think it's ready, because I'll make it and then be like, hold on, I forgot about this, forgot about that. So then I'll hold it off. I don't know if you noticed, but sometimes I won't post it till like 7, 8 o'clock that night.
Right.
Because I'll start at like noon or whatever time that morning, or even sometime the night before, and I'll be like, nah, I think something might be. So usually once it's finished, I'll share it to IG stories and I share it to Facebook stories. Mm-hmm. I'll post it. I have a music group called Music Lovers. I'll post it in there. And then, of course, in Wildfire, I try to share it to the people that I either think will like it or the people that's been asking me about the playlist or
I did wonder why you choose certain people.
Yeah. Those folks that I mostly share it to are the folks that will like comment about it later or will say a couple days later, yeah, I was listening to this playlist and such and such and such and such. Or like I was at Jasper's one night with, Lynn and Mixed Drink and we were talking about a particular artist and Daphne's friend, Tracy was there. Tracy Rivers. She was there. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about old school music and, things of that nature. So 2-3 days later, I made a playlist similar to what we were talking about. And because I knew she wasn't in the group, I just copied the playlist and just sent it to her in Messenger.
Oh, that's awesome. So, yeah, that's so powerful. Okay,
So that's the stuff I try to
Facebook.
do. Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna repeat where people can find your
Okay.
playlist. Facebook, there's Lovers Music. That's the group.
Music lovers, but
Well, you tell me. You say them because I don't want to get it wrong.
that's cool. It's Music Lovers on Facebook,
Mhm.
and like I said, Music Man 817 on Spotify. But every time I make the playlist, I at least share it to my IG or Facebook stories, because some people who don't actually see the link or the post when I post it will see it in the stories and they'll follow it that way.
Okay, so then give us your IG so we can get your IG stories as well.
No problem. That's Music Makes Me High 39.
Yeah,
All one line.
and it makes sense, a befitting handle. Well, it's been great talking to you, James. I really appreciate everything you're doing.
No problem. Thanks a lot.
All right, take care.
All right, you too.